what if chasing the one thing you believe will make you happy actually leads to your total destruction? It's a huge question, and it's right at the heart of Leo Tolstoy's masterpiece, Anna Karenina. So here's what we're gonna do. First, we'll dive right into the story, into this dazzling but super strict world of 19th century Russia. Then, we'll unpack the timeless lessons that make this book so powerful, even today. Let's get into it. Right from the very first sentence, Tolstoy gives us the key to the whole novel. It's one of the most famous opening lines in all of literature for a reason. What he's basically saying is, happiness might look pretty similar for everyone, but unhappiness, that's a unique, custom-made experience. And that is the exact lens we need to understand the tragic, tangled lives we're about to. All right, so let's start with this idea of being unhappy in its own way. Our journey into this world begins with the one and only, the unforgettable Anna Karenina. Okay, so picture this. You're living in a world where your every single move is being watched and judged. This was the high society of Imperial Russia. It was glamorous, sure, but it was also incredibly suffocating. Your reputation was everything. And if you were a woman, the rulebook was basically set in stone. One wrong step, and you're out. And right at the top of this glittering social pyramid, we find Anna. I mean, from the outside, she has it all. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's married to an important guy, and everyone adores her. It looks like the perfect life. But underneath that perfect surface, there's a woman who is just desperate for something real. And that deep-seated desire is about to blow her entire world apart. And then he walks in, Count Vronsky. Their meeting isn't just a spark, it's a full-on earthquake that shatters the very foundation of Anna's life. And get this, it's no coincidence that they meet at a train station. Trains in this book are this huge symbol of unstoppable modern force. A force that, just like her passion for Vronsky, turns out to be both thrilling and ultimately terrifyingly destructive. This is the moment everything changes. So, this forbidden affair kicks off a chain of events that sends Anna down a really dangerous path. One that leads to consequences she could never, ever have imagined. You can really see her tragic story in 4 distinct stages. First, you have the intoxicating thrill of this forbidden passion. That leads directly to stage 2, social exile. From there, she spirals into this profound sense of isolation, which finally bottoms out in just absolute final despair. It's a heartbreaking progression. And this is where the brutal double standard of the time really comes into play. See, if a man like Vronsky had an affair, it was kind of winked at, swept under the rug. But for Anna, it's a social death sentence. The doors that were once wide open are slammed shut in her face. The woman who was the toast of the town becomes a social outcast. And here's the terrible irony at the center of her story. The very thing she was searching for, a true, deep connection, ends up making her completely and utterly alone. The love she gives up everything for becomes her prison, a world that shrinks until it contains only her and Vronsky, shutting everyone else out. Now, this is really important. Tolstoy isn't just writing a simple morality tale here, wagging his finger at the fallen woman. No, he's doing something much more profound. He's showing us the devastating psychological price you pay for being cut off from your community. It's a deep dive into what social isolation actually does to the human soul. But hold on, Anna's story is only half of this massive novel. To really get what Tolstoy's up to, we have to look at the other side of the coin. We need to talk about a character named Levin, who takes a very, very different path. So, meet Levin. He is the complete opposite of Anna. He's a country landowner, a sort of philosopher in work boots. He can't stand the fake, superficial city life. Instead, he's out in the fields, getting his hands dirty and wrestling with the biggest questions you can imagine. So while Anna is fighting this external war against society, Levin is fighting a completely internal battle. He's not trying to break the world's rules, he's trying to figure out his place within them. He's asking the questions we all ask ourselves at some point, right? What's the point of it all? How do I live a good life? And the answer he finds isn't some big, flashy lightning bolt of an epiphany. It's actually much quieter and much more profound. He discovers that real meaning isn't found in some grand idea, but in the small, everyday stuff, in his work, in his family, in caring for the people around him. Okay, so you've got these 2 totally different lives, Anna's and Levin's. Why put them in the same book? Well, by weaving them together, Tolstoy gets to the novel's central question about what it even means to live a good life. And that brings us to the lessons we can take away. When you put their paths side by side, it's crystal clear. Anna chooses this all-out pursuit of personal passion. She defies society, and it leads her to isolation and despair. Levin, on the other hand, searches for purpose. He works within society, and that leads him to a sense of acceptance and meaning. Two people, two choices, two completely different outcomes. This contrast is everything. This is the heart of the novel. It's this constant tug-of-war between what we want for ourselves, our personal passions, and what we owe to the world around us, our responsibilities. And the book forces us to ask, can you have both? Or do you always have to choose? This is why the book is still a classic. These lessons are timeless. It shows us that love can be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it can also destroy you. It reminds us that our personal freedom is a double-edged sword, and that who we are is deeply connected to the people around us. But here's the brilliant part. Tolstoy never gives us an easy answer. He's not telling you to be Levin and not Anna. He paints both of them with so much empathy. He shows us their flaws, their struggles, their humanity. He doesn't ask us to judge them. He asks us to understand them. And so, in the end, we're left with this huge, haunting question. Can you really find happiness by going against the grain, by defying the world you're a part of? Or is true meaning only found by working within that world, through our connections to others? Tolstoy doesn't give us the answer. He leaves that one for us to figure out.